Welcome home, Bitcoin truth seekers. It is Monday, April 4th, 9:33 a.m. here in the Arizona desert, and it's a pretty cool week shaping up. Bitcoin's pretty weak this morning, but it's quickly gaining some momentum along with the crypto market in general. Traditional markets are looking pretty good, metals okay, and we have some really hopeful news for humanity. So I'll do that at the end. BitcoinDailyView.com got more for you there. If anyone's wondering, here's how the Ukrainian conflict is going. Right now, the ruble is holding that 75% recovery range. So there it is. I will just for fun, in case anybody would like to see this, I will copy this chart image and I will stick it in a link to it into the live chat here. This is how I'm sort of measuring the progress right now. The war is 75% won by Russia. Okay, space weather, no big noticeable space weather. We did have what was that? An M-class flare. It does look like you can kind of see it taking off there from the side of the sun, and it was an M4, so pretty good size, but not really Earth-facing, but very long, 5 hours. Interesting. The sun is getting perky, and we do have this sunspot here, 2978, which is pretty large and kind of looking at the Earth. So we'll see how this week goes. Right now, no big space weather to note. If that recent flare was facing Earth, maybe we'd see some, radiation our way, but nothing too incredible. All right. Bitcoin trading volume explicitly is 3.2 billion right now. That's good enough for a Monday morning, and that volume is picking up. Now, if we look over at ultimately optimistic cryptometer.io, it says 4.9 billion. So definitely we have 3.2 billion versus 4.9 billion. I think at best we have 4 billion in real trading volume for Bitcoin last 24 hours. That's looking at retail trading volume. What does have a value here, though, is that we're up 11%, or actually right now it says 12% in the last 24 hours. So that's good. So ultimately the volume has been low over the weekend, but it is increasing. Here's the big deal for me. If we look at all the big exchanges here for spot trading volume, you can see all the green here, up 20%, up 115%. But looking at the big ones, Binance up almost 13%, Coinbase up 28%. You've got, Kraken doing 51%, KuCoin 22%. Let's find, where is my little Gate.io, almost like 11.5%. That's not looking too bad. Where's Crypto.com? Where'd you go? That's one of my good measurements there. Yeah, Crypto.com right there. Only 8% up. Well, in general, big exchanges are beginning to get perky. We're starting to see some nice volume come in. I like what I'm seeing there. And as you can see the volume for the 7-day graph, you can see it was trailing off at the end of the weekend and this morning pretty hard. That's not so good to see. But we're seeing spot trading volume really crank up this morning. So even though Bitcoin's a little bit flaccid and the alt market's kind of reflecting that, we're seeing a strong pickup this morning, and that's important. So we're going to look at Bitcoin a little bit closely to see which way we think it's going to go, because we have a very critical daily MACD, which is kind of forming up. There could be a negative cross, and if that's the case, well, me, like all the rest of the rats, will be jumping ship before that dump comes. All right, Binance, 55,539 for derivatives. 50 billion is okay. 60 is a good day. Above 70 is wonderful. So we are low, but we're on the way up. 13% up. Derivatives. People are getting those leverage longs and shorts in on Binance. Good enough. So overall, we have low volume this morning for Bitcoin trading, but we have increasing spot trading. It's pretty good. Binance is at 21 billion. I mean, that has not been that way for weeks. Coinbase almost over 3 billion this morning. It would not surprise me if it does that in the next couple of minutes. Crypto.com over 3 billion. That's always been a good thing for me. I like to see that. Gate.io almost at 3 billion, 2.7 billion if you round it up. So volume is increasing for spot. Looking at the top 100 cryptos, as you can see, Bitcoin coming in at 45,790. And for the most part, most cryptos, most alts out of the top 100 have been wrecked. They pretty much followed Bitcoin down, and that's fine because we had pretty much kind of a weak ass weekend, and Monday might be shaping up. So let's see how that rolls. Very few greens here. Cardano up 3.2%. That's kind of cool. Anyway, let's keep on rocking. Looking at longs versus shorts here on Blockchain Whispers. Looking explicitly at Binance, where the massive volume is 66% long, 33% short. That's very interesting. We have a long bias. Interesting. I will give that some value right there. Cool to have a long bias right now, especially when Bitcoin really is looking pretty weak. I think that we very well may be seeing something interesting about to happen, and I'll tell you why. For Ethereum, 56% long, 43% short. So a very, very slight long bias there. Now, let's look at the in general market. Looking at the in general market, the big stuff to check out to see what it's doing. We will look at that. Here it is right here. Now, oil this morning bouncing off that 50 moving average on the daily chart, coming in at $101 a barrel. All right, so oil on the way up this morning. I'm going to call it a good thing. Who knows? I mean, it all depends. Are you buying gas today? Whatever. So oil, $101 a barrel, good enough. Looking at US dollar currency index, not like US dollar currently index. Sorry. Blah. One of the problems with doing things live. DXY, dollar strength index, above the 20 WMA this morning, green candle. So it's looking good. Looking at, this is a big deal for me. I dig what I'm seeing. S&P 500 right here, a green candle today. I like that. So we closed with a green candle on Monday. We opened with a green candle today. Pretty perky looking green candle. We're above the important moving averages. Good enough. Russell 2000 index over here on the bottom left-hand corner. It is struggling with a red candle right now. We'll see if it can close green for the day. At least it is above the 20 WMA. I'll take it. So very, very short time frame there. Russell 2000 maybe making a comeback. In general, you can kind of see an upwards trend here for it. It's following that 21 WMA, which is the purple one. Let's see if it can continue. I would love to see it close with a green candle today. I like the Russell 2000 index because the S&P 500 is much bigger. The Russell 2000 index is it's more volatile, and I think it definitely shows it's sort of like a shorter time frame. Let's even though we're looking at daily. I mean, imagine almost like the daily for the S&P 500. There it is. Then imagine looking at like an hourly chart to get a more precise view. It has more volatility. That's kind of the Russell 2000. That may not make sense, but it has a value. It definitely is more reactive to the market than the S&P 500 is. And oftentimes its direction will tend to predetermine the S&P 500. So it will turn around and go potty first. All right, looking at gold today. We're below the 20 WMA. We have a green candle. We've challenged it. We've wicked to it. Let's see how it rolls. Gold in general above the important moving averages and starting the week looking kind of perky. Let's see if we can get a higher low going, because as you can see here, you had like a high, a higher low. I don't know if you can call this a higher low or not, but let's say a higher low. So let's see if we can break out of that and get some upwards momentum going. So it's nice to see gold at least opening on the with a green candle today. Silver, not so much. Silver continues to pretty much tumble. It's had a hard time recently. It's wicked down to the 50 moving average. So for whatever reason, silver is just not doing too well. And that's funny because most cruise missiles take like 500 ounces of silver to build. I mean, they're using a lot of them these days. I mean, anyway, it's not just for new age jewelry. Okay, so Bitcoin versus USDT here on the daily chart. We are staying above the 314 moving average, the blue one here, and also the 21 WMA is right there in the same spot. We're staying above some important moving averages, but we do have a red candle today on the daily, and look at this. This is the daily MACD. What I would suggest everybody do, this is what I'm doing, okay, is go to your settings here, and not settings, but your alerts. MACD, you want to say MACD crossing value, MACD signal. And for the love of God, seriously, follow this. If you see that cross negative, abandon ship. Because we might definitely see some downwards action. Even as we continue getting closer to it, that's kind of confidence in the market, which is not very good. So I'm going to really quickly look here at the 2-hour chart, because the 2-hour chart does tend to sort of show you the volition of the daily. If the 2 hours negative, I'm gonna and the daily is not looking so good, I'm gonna be like, eh. But if the 2 hour is positive and the daily just needs time to pit to get positive, I'll kind of go with that. But right now, look at this 2 hour MACD. It's pure potty. So 2 hour MACD looking not so good. And the daily MACD, definitely the tangent is going in the wrong direction. So be very, very watchful. As we get close to this negative cross, definitely that will be a lot of confidence in the market hopping out. There is automated trading that ultimately does happen where people do buy the crosses on the daily. Let's face it, if you did that, you could sometimes not much is going to happen for you, but quite often, you can make some serious money. So there's going to be a lot of, automated trading start to sell its Bitcoin, in my opinion. Okay, if we get close to that daily MACD cross, which we are already too close to, especially with the leading 2 hour cross already in the negative and not looking so great. So got to hold this 314, got to hold that 20 WMA. If we go below there, really, I could see, and I'm not the only one saying this. I'm not going to, bore people with a lot of different angles and shapes and et cetera, et cetera. I think we could definitely see a move down to the 50 WMA. And I tend to just look at moving averages. That tends to be how I trade. I do like shapes and angles and, bull flags and pennants and all that stuff. And I do look at it. But in general, just looking at where the moving averages are and the trend, your channel, your upwards or downwards channel tends to be good enough for me. I find that going deeper than that with shapes. And sometimes I do look at the Japanese candlestick patterns. Sometimes they do have a validity, depending on what kind of time frame you're on. But in general, nothing to me has quite proven as effective as just simply looking at moving averages and where you're at and which way your channel is going upwards or downwards. Okay. So, and of course, many indicators I like to look at, and we'll look at that in just a sec. But anyway, we are way too Klaus. We are way too Klaus Schwab right now for a negative MACD cross. So there we go. I know I've belabored it, but just be careful. We're close. And but something that I'm seeing here is, do note that we do have, overall, the spot trading volume is going up. And ultimately, let's look at this again. 3.2 billion. Are we getting more volume? 3.2. What's Happy Pants doing here? It said 4.9 billion on this one for Bitcoin trading volume. I'm watching this guy. It's up 1% since we've kind of been talking. Anyway, just beware. If we do dump from here, I could see the possibility, because already the daily is below the 200 moving average. It's holding at 314. If we drop below that, and of course it's 20 WMA, which is right there in the same spot, we could visit the 50 moving average for a bounce. That really is possible. And if that's the case, where's that 50 moving average? It's right below 42,000. And so I've been looking at a lot of other people's TA this morning and such like that. So if we do lose that powerful MACD, if we have that powerful MACD negative cross, just beware, because that definitely could be the buy zone. And so if you're looking at 45,707 right now, if you're looking at, for 45,700 right now, but if we lose that positive MACD cross and we dump a bit, 42,000, 42,000. I definitely have a buy order or two just down here, like 42,300 and 42,200 and 42,100 and such like that. A couple buys on the way down, just in case we hit that, because it very well could happen. Now, let's keep moving. I don't want to belabor it. I want to keep this rolling. Another insanely crazy trade that I would be so careful with doing is the PAXG. So I oftentimes mention it, and I've lost as much as I've gained trading this on the occasion, but it's basically just, PAXG, PAXG, BTC. You can play it on Binance, Kraken, and KuCoin. You can get wrecked on any of those exchanges if you want to try to do this. So basically, up top here, you've got Bitcoin versus USDT, 45-minute chart. We have lost the 200 moving average. We have lost the 314 moving average. We're not at the bottom of the RSI cave yet. We are seeing on this 45-minute chart recently, we do have two green candles that we're working on. It seems like we might be finding some support. And if we do look here, we are hanging out where there's been previous support and resistance in the chart. Okay, so sorry about that. Computer was lagging for a sec. My computer's losing it. If I disappear, it's because my computer crashed. So just in case this broadcast ends, I didn't get swatted. Okay, my mouse just kind of gave up, or my computer did, whatever. Anyway, as you can see, we're playing with a previous support and resistance in the chart. That is very possible. We might be at a bounce spot. I'm not quite ready to throw in the towel yet. But as you can see, PAXG is basically exactly like, a mirror opposite of the chart we got here. So it's on the bottom. So, as Bitcoin gets weak and starts trending down below important moving averages and such like that, PAXG tends to make a move upwards. They're always exactly opposite one another. If you can catch that trade, if you could catch that beautiful Bitcoin dump down to 44,200, if that happens and you had a nice PAXG versus BTC trade in, and gold was strong, which right now gold is looking pretty good. Gold at least has to have a green candle, and it is above a lot of the important moving averages on the daily chart, but it is struggling with the 20 WMA. Be wary of that. That is definitely a short time frame moving average, but I like to be above it if I'm playing dangerous games. Okay. And right now we are below it for gold. So anyway, guys, it's a crazy volatile Monday. It's a crazy day. It really is. So be careful out there, people. Let's look at a 15-minute chart here for Bitcoin. 15-minute chart. So in the 15-minute chart, as you can see, Bitcoin does tend to visit, well, anything does. This is the RSI cave, and you can kind of see where it does visit the bottom of the RSI cave quite often, and the top, as you can see, like right here. But you tend to stay within it, and you don't tend to stay beyond it very long. So 15-minute chart, it's valid enough. I know it's a short time frame, but we are seeing some upwards momentum here. And if we go and look at some indicators, okay, the directional index is beginning to turn positive. ADX is going in the right direction. Squeeze indicators beginning to slack off a little bit, not quite so much downwards velocity. KRI is getting ready. It's heading towards a positive cross. And this is a very, very powerful indicator. If you do not use it, please, if you so desire, I think I have it over at bitcoindailyview.com, or just search for it in TradingView, KRI. And I do believe that the setting, and this setting actually comes from it comes from blockchain education. That's where I got the setting. Yeah, 20. That's part of their standard trading methodology. So giving away a little bit of the secrets there, but 20 set that KRI for 20, and you will find it's very, very effective. Looking at here on the 15-minute chart, the stochastic RSI is in the right spot to continue up, but its tangent is going in the wrong direction. But do note this, where to oscillated by lazy bear is turning up also. When those two are in agreement, you got some serious good voodoo going on. So 45-minute chart, once again, beginning to see that slight uptrend. These indicators pretty much reflect the same on this time frame also, except for the downwards velocity there and the squeeze indicator, indecisive for the directional index. So anyway, this is a dangerous game. This is a difficult morning. We got to see which way the market's going to go. It might be a matter of faith. I'm honestly not willing to hedge out into PAXG or out into USDC or USDT. I'm just going to kind of hang in there. I'm watching for a little bit more of a confirmation of what Bitcoin's going to do. My bets right now are just some, buy orders down at like 43,000. 42,500, 42,300, etc. Just, maybe just in case we really get a good dump, you might possibly be able to buy this 50 moving average bounce. And if you have, buy orders in it like, 42,300, 42,250, 42,200, et cetera, down to that 50 moving average, you might just start seeing those limit orders just fill if we get a dump. Maybe you can even pick up a wick if you're on an exchange with a good liquidity, good trading volume. So watch out for this daily MACD cross towards the negative. That could be a unpleasant start to the week if you're not positioned for it. I will just mention SHIB versus USD here because USDT, because a lot of people who watch this there are big shivers, and as you can see, we've been in this uptrend. This is a 45-minute chart, uptrend. We're having a very hard time holding it. We're not really holding the 20 moving average right now, having a hard time holding the 314. We'll see what happens, but this is kind of what a lot of alts are suffering right now. So this will just be my example of what we're seeing in a lot of alts right now. We really need to break above this downwards trend. Even though we've kind of been pushing it a little bit, we're just not holding on to it. And overall, that's kind of where you're going to find a lot of alts. In fact, you could even do a little bit of of a thing right there. You can kind of see where it's going to have to break out soon and make up its mind. And it has given a tremendous amount back, since its run up the beginning of, when was that? It had that beautiful run up that started, sorry for the slowness here. Yeah, that run up was like October, like October 4th, and September, basically October 1st, when it started that wonderful run up, was given a lot back. And these are awesome trades. When something's run up and given most of it back, that's when sometimes you want to think about hopping into it. It's a great opportunity. So if we look at this, just do a fib for fun, we'll rock this out real quick. We have been riding that 786 for quite a while, and that's where the 200 moving average is. Could be time for a turnaround. We will see. SHIB is definitely taking a beating. Indicators look like, well, indifferent. Screw it. I can't. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Like I can't sing any good. I really can't give it any praises right now. It's up to SHIB if it's going to start to move off that 786. If it goes below it, party over. I think personally. All right, this is the good news for humanity that I'm seeing right here, and I think this is just a wonderful, wonderful thing. Others may not agree, and that's fine, but I'm just going to throw this out there because I think this is a beautiful thing, and it gives me really a lot of hope for humanity, a hope for the world right now. Pollsters humiliated as two pro-Putin parties win avalanche victories in European elections. They're not pro-Putin. They're anti-globalist. They're anti-NATO. Okay, that's this headline is a narrative. It's not really the truth. It's not Zero Hedge's usual form. So anyway, take it for what it's worth. And I'll focus on the guy in Hungary here. Okay, Hungarian Prime Minister and economic nationalist Viktor Orban easily wins re-election. And check this out: NATO globalists, World Economic Forum, and Western War Alliance very upset. And he said, we want a victory so big that you can see it from the moon, and you can certainly see it from Brussels. Okay. And then check out this wonderful. Now, you may not agree. Okay. That's fine. I'm not pro-Russian. I ain't pro-Putin. Although, Putin's kind of a shirtless warrior, right? But still, I'm not making him out to be a good guy. I don't like Zelensky either. I don't like any of the world leaders. Okay. But this is a big deal, what just happened here. I kind of do like Orban. I do, because here's the deal. As he said in his victory speech the other day, and you gotta realize this guy had so much. The globalists did not want him to win. And listen to this is pretty much his quote. I couldn't find his exact quote. I think I did, but this is basically it. In his victory speech, which was about 10 minutes, this is one of the lines, and this gives me hope for the world. Okay, hope for the world. This should start your week really glowing with resonant positivity. Okay, he says Orban singled out Zelensky as part of overwhelming force that his party had defeated. All the forces, all the globalists behind NATO right now, basically, and what's going on, that his party had defeated. Okay, and we had basically do note that there's been a lot of money going into the opposition to get rid of him, because Hungary's key in the current conflict over there. NATO, the West needs it. Hungary ain't playing the game. They wanted this guy unseated. Okay, the left at home, the international left, Brussels bureaucrats, and check this out: the Soros empire with all its money. The international mainstream media, and in the end, even the Ukrainian president. This is glorious. And as Pedro Gonzalez says here, Zelensky has the full support of corrupt, whatever word that is, Darrenciated, whatever that is, I don't even know. Western liberal elites behind him, etc. Orban stood his ground against Zelensky, Soros, against the EU, against international media, against the State Department, and he won. This is friggin' epic. You may not be following the events over there. Maybe you're not kind of a nut like I am, and you think that it really, really matters. But humanity, a beautiful, optimistic future for this world, just punched the globalists in the nuts with this one. And I think that's worth celebrating. Amen. I do. Don't you want to see what happens if you don't give up on humanity? You know what happens? This happens. That's what happens when you don't give up. So don't give up. Remember, for every Bitcoin Satoshi you own, a piece of shit globalist cries. I'll see you tomorrow.